So proud of these guys. You know, we said last night in our hotel in our final team meeting that this was going to be a street fight. We have so much respect for Utah. You know, everything that they're about. We're really a mirror image of each other. They want to run the football. They want to play great defense and be excellent on special teams, and so do we. And that's why this thing's just been a fist fight for the last 7 years now. And you know, obviously we took some lumps. We took some lumps in that first half, but we were playing hard in all three phases, making some mistakes. They landed a lot of blows, and that's what I told the team at halftime. I said, hey, Utah just landed some left hooks, some right hooks, some body blows, and we took them. Now we need to come out in the second half. We need to start throwing our punches, and we need to land a haymaker at the end. And I tell you what, our guys went out there, just kept working hard, and you know, just were persevering through all kinds of adversity when they could have just put their heads down and not wanted to fight. But these guys, they're all about fighting. And this is Husky football right here. You know, last week I said that was Husky football. That is definitely Husky football last week. And so is this right here. We're going to face a lot of really good opponents here. And we got to be able to be resilient and be able to fight back. So many guys that I'm proud of. You know, Cade Otton. How about Cade Otton? I mean, this guy right here. 2 weeks in a row now. Receptions, touchdowns, and then his blocking again in the run game for 2 weeks in a row. If there's another better tight end in the country, I'd like to see him. And then how about ZTF? and I see it in practice. I tell you guys every single week, I see it in practice. This guy just comes out, just comes to work, harasses our quarterback, harasses our offensive line. He's hard to block. And sure enough, our opponents are having a really hard time keeping him covered up. So proud of him. Our defense responded. We definitely got to shore up our run defense. Not good in the first half, very similar to the Oregon State game. And then they pitched a shutout in the second half with some great adjustments by Coach K and the staff and getting 4 turnovers. And then Dylan Morris, tell you what, you know, threw the 3 interceptions. 1 was a Hail Mary. So really, you know, 2 interceptions, the bad one in the beginning and then the one in the third quarter, you know, underthrew it. But at halftime, that guy was about as positive. You could look him in his eyes. You could tell that he was going to lead our team and put some points on the board in the second half. And then him going on that 4.5-minute drive to go down there and punch in the game-winning touchdown and get some critical completions on third down. I'm just so proud of him. Ton of stuff to clean up, which I'm sure you guys are going to ask me about, but I'm proud of our guys, how they showed their character tonight and how resilient they are, and so proud of Husky football.
All right, Fetters, Maz, Christian. Go ahead, Chris. Fetters.
Yeah, Jimmy, I know the announcers were saying it's the first time Washington's come back from a 21-point deficit or more since, I think, 1988. And I was curious if there were any games that you could relate to the kids during halftime or on the sidelines in terms of a comeback, in terms of something that you could literally go back and tell them that you'd experienced.
No, that wasn't the message. The message was what I just mentioned. I said, hey, we're going to be in a street fight, guys. This is going to be a street fight. We're going to get hit. We're going to get hit in the mouth, and we're going to have to respond, and we're going to have to throw some punches as well. And that was really the message at halftime. And the other thing I said was, hey, we need a spark. You know, we need a spark. We're getting the ball to come out of the locker room. We need a spark to get us going and get some really good momentum. You know, and it was 21-0. We got to score. It's a lot of time. They scored 21 points in 2 quarters. We could score 21 or more in 2 quarters, which we did. So that was more of the conversation.
All right, Masvita, then Capel. Go ahead, Maz.
Yeah. Hey, Jimmy, just the mental fortitude of your team. If we're going to boxing analogy, after you get hit, they stayed focused. They just stay focused, play to play. Can you just talk about the mental fortitude of your team?
Yeah, that's exactly what we talked about. And what I love is they bought in and they responded. We told them what it was going to be. We knew it wasn't going to be easy. Utah is a talented team. They're a well-coached team. I have so much respect. They're not going to back away from a battle. And I'll tell you what, we grew a ton tonight, and we've got better tonight through all the adversity, the mistakes that we made, but then to be able to bounce back, persevere, and get that victory, we're going to just keep continuing to get better from here.
All right, Christian, and then Dan Rayleigh. Go ahead, Christian.
Jimmy, I know you mentioned, looking at Dylan at halftime and knowing that he was still hanging in there and ready to go. I'm curious, after the interception in the fourth quarter, looking for Ty Jones, when he came off the field, did you talk to him at all? And just kind of what was he like in that moment after that?
Yeah. So we were being aggressive there. We talked about we're going to be attacking aggressive. We called a double move, which Ty ran really well. I'll have to look at it on tape, but I believe Dylan did not. He threw it short. We should have kind of laid it out there a little bit more so Ty could go get it, and then give Utah credit. The DB did a nice job of getting his hand on it and it deflecting, and they intercepted it. But Dylan came to the sideline, positive energy, and he knew. He's like, all right, hey, our defense is going to get the ball back, and they're going to go down and score. There was no flinch. There was no negative, put your head down. We're not about that. And we talk about that in practice all the time. And I'm so happy that our whole team was able to show that to the whole country tonight, that we're just going to continue to persevere. Even when bad things happen to us, we're going to persevere through adversity and keep fighting till the end.
All right, we'll go with just the hands that are up, please. Christian Capel, then Dan Rayleigh. Go ahead, Christian. Oh, that was Christian, excuse me. Dan, and then go ahead, Lauren.
Jimmy, when you have a football team that's down 21-0 at halftime, it could go one of two ways. Did you feel like you were on the spot as a new head coach, a new situation here, that you really had to step up and show leadership at that point?
Yeah, I mean, we go out there, we're trying to win football games. And so, throughout a game, there's going to be certain things that we're going to have to do schematically, or we're going to have to do with our voice to get our players to do what we want them to do. And I saw a team that was playing hard. We were playing hard in that first half. They just made more plays than we made. And we just had to get in there at halftime and gather up and keep the positive energy going, clean up the mistakes that we made, and then go on the attack. And I'm so proud of our guys. We went on the attack in the second half, cleaned up our mistakes. Defense pitches a shutout. We scored 24 unanswered points to win the game.
All right, Lauren, and then Alec Dietz. Go ahead, Lauren.
Jimmy, you have a guy in Elijah Molden who really just sets the tone for that defense. What can you say about his leadership, especially tonight, kind of getting that group together?
Oh, yeah, Lauren, I'm telling you what, this guy is a big-time football player. I am so happy that he came back to play his senior year. We were just talking. We're going to remember this moment. These are one of those games that we'll be talking about years from now. He's an extraordinary leader for our whole team, not just our defense, our whole team. He was our captain for the game, for the coin toss today, and he leads by example. He's great leading with his voice. He knows what to say to those guys, and they all respond. And then he went out there and obviously got a huge interception for us. That gave us a huge spark. His tackling obviously is always top-notch. So proud of Elijah. So happy that he's a dog.
All right, we'll go to Alec Dietz, and then Ruth. Go ahead, Alec.
Hey, Jimmy, you touched on it before, but Zion with 7 sacks, I think, through 3 games. I mean, were you expecting this kind of production from him this early in his career?
Unreal. I mean, I cannot say that if you can't pin me down and say I think he was going to have 7 sacks, and I think it's like 5 forced fumbles. I don't have the stats in front of me in 3 games, whatever it is. And then he gets the fumble recovery, the huge gain when Kyler Gordon forced the fumble. The guy is just a playmaker. I have been telling you for the last couple of weeks, he always shows up in practice, so that doesn't surprise me because he's always harassing our offense in practice, and I'm telling him to stay away from the quarterback. He's always buzzing right by him, buzzing right by Dylan and all the other guys, and I'm like, Zion, stay away from the quarterback. So I guess it doesn't surprise us, but just to have that type of production in 3 Pac-12 games is phenomenal.
All right, we'll go to Ruth, and then Lars. Go ahead, Ruth.
Jimmy, how much of a spark was it there too? You know, we talk about the sparks, but that one play on when they were going for it on 4th down, and Taki and Thule just blew that guy up, and that brick wall. I mean, I was wondering how much of a difference it means having Thule back in there.
That play was huge, Ruth. That was a huge play. There were so many big plays in this game. I tell you what, we could probably be on this call for like another hour, and I can't wait to go watch the film. But there was another huge play. You know, they're going on this drive. They hit us with a play. They're moving the chains. Then they're going for it on fourth down. And you said it, our D tackles, they stepped up in that moment, and they tried a quarterback sneak, and he didn't gain – I think he lost a yard on that. And usually in a quarterback sneak, you're usually going to get at least an inch. Those guys squeeze those gaps down, push Utah's offensive line back. The quarterback ran into a wall. Huge stop by our defense. Created all types of positive energy on our sideline. Everyone was going crazy. The offense can feel it. That was another huge moment in that game.
All right, 4 more for Coach Lars, Mike, Art, and Nick. Go ahead, Lars.
Hey, Coach, it looked like Savell Smalls was lined up in a few different spots along the front. Can you talk about what you saw from him today and just overall his impression of the season?
Yeah, you know, I can't wait to go watch the film, especially, you know, for the interior line guys. It's harder, you know, when you're sitting on the sideline to really grade how they're doing throughout each play. But Savell is an extremely bright, smart football player, and we're able to put him in our different personnel groupings that we have on defense. And so that's where you're seeing him, you know, line up in multiple spots. And for a true freshman playing his 3rd game, that's pretty impressive. He's another guy that's just going to continually get better. The more comfortable he gets at playing college football, we're excited where he is nowhere even near hit his ceiling. He is going to be a big-time player for the Dogs.
All right, Mike Varell, then Art. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, Jimmy, I saw the ESPN interview you did after the game where it looked like you were about to erupt with emotion. I'm wondering, as a head coach after a game like that, just what's running through you in terms of feelings and emotion after a game like that?
Yeah, it was, you know, I wanted to see the crowd up in the stands. I was so excited. It would just be awesome for 72,000 fans to be just screaming down, woofing. I'm so proud of our staff. I'm so proud of our players. You guys all know this has just been it's been a difficult year for everybody. And to see the looks on all their faces for going through all the adversity that we've all gone through in 2020, but then for us to go through all this adversity in the first half, in the second half, and find a way to just keep laying bricks, just keep working, head down, and stay positive, and for us to come out there with a victory is just a huge growing moment for our program.
We'll go to Art Teal, then we'll close it out with Nick. Go ahead, Art.
Jimmy, in the middle of the final drive, the snap comes early to Dylan. It's at his feet. The whole drive could fall apart right there. What was supposed to happen, and what did you see happen?
Wow, thanks for reminding me about that. That was not supposed to happen, obviously. The cadence was, miscommunicated between the center and the quarterback. And so we have to get that cleaned up, obviously. We can't have that happen. But how about Dylan? So everything I've been talking about Dylan, about not flinching and not panicking, it probably that moment right there really puts it in a capsule. It's a snap coming when it's not supposed to be snapped. And he grabs the ball, looks downfield, gets back to his reads, and throws a strike, I believe, to Cade Otton to move the chains. And then Cade gets out of bounds. That's the type of leadership Dylan shows. That's the type of calm that he has through adverse situations. Really, that sequence right there really captures what Dylan Morris is all about.
All right, last question from Nick Mendro. Go ahead, Nick.
Yeah, your mantra has always been score, get the ball back. Never is that more apparent than the second half tonight. Could you just talk a little bit about what role those turnovers played in the 3rd and 4th quarter in the comeback win? Yeah, we talked about it all week long to our defense. One of the keys of the game, we put a high benchmark for turnovers for this game because we knew how tight this game was going to be. And I told the defense we needed 3 turnovers. And I reminded them that their job is to score, get the ball back, which I know they know because they hear it every single day and there's signs everywhere down here in the meeting rooms. But how about them responding with 4 turnovers and all in huge critical situations? And so proud of those guys. You know, they could have easily, got very, net negative with all the rush yards that we were giving up there early on in that game. But they stayed positive. They stayed at it, adjusted,
and went out there and got the ball back for our offense, and our offense responded.
All right, that'll wrap it up. Thank you very much, Coach. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. Have a good night.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.